This list is going to be 10 fragrances for the months of summer that can be had from discounters online for under $35. These are fragrances that I think will definitely get you compliments and will definitely work really well, especially if you're on a budget, especially in today's financial crisis. Anyway, keep it right there. What's going on, everybody? My name is Joshua, and this is our channel, ScentSense. To all loyal subscribers who have gotten us to 10,000, to you fine folks, wherever you are, especially if you're watching this video, I want to say thank you so much. And to all you new people who are jumping on the bandwagon, jumping in the bus, the new folks, wherever you are, I hope you consider subscribing. Just do it. Like Mike said, just do it. Be like Mike. As I said before, these are going to be 10 fragrances that can be had for under the $35 mark. Some of these fragrances you could have seen on my top 10 summer list, my designer list that I put out last week, and that'll be right here. In that video, I discussed the top 10 fragrances that I will be wearing for the months of summer. But that's not what this is. These are 10 fragrances that I think will garner you compliments in the months of summer and can be had from discounters and from other places such as Marshalls, TJ Maxx, Burlington, what have you, for under $35. At number 10 is a fragrance that I feel has become forgotten. It belongs in the island of misfit toys because this fragrance smells like another fragrance. This fragrance was put out by a fragrance brand that is synonymous for doing this at a designer level. The brand is Mont Blanc, and the fragrance is Mont Blanc's Legend. Mont Blanc Legend is said to smell a lot like Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce. If you've been a teenager or a person who's had to drag a teenager through a mall or a shopping center somewhere and you've stumbled into an Abercrombie, you smelled this in the air. Yes, they literally spray this crap into the air and let it permeate the store, and that's why a lot of people buy it. But this one is not that one, and this one can be had for a much cheaper price. This is a perfect fragrance for a much younger guy. I think it can still work for an older gentleman, but I think it's a perfect summertime fragrance for a younger guy who's strapped on cash because he's young, still working maybe on allowance or a small part-time job, and you guys are definitely struggling right now. So maybe not. Maybe you got your COVID check and you had a small job and you just got $1,200 and you're living your life. So why don't you go check out this one? You can have it for under $35. At number 10, from the house of Mont Blanc, Mont Blanc's Legend. At number 9 is a fragrance that's not talked about much. It's super synthetic. It got a grapefruit note that some people think smells kind of rough and almost smells kind of like BO-like. I don't smell that at all, but a lot of people say a lot of things about a lot of fragrances. From the house, the house of Adam Levine, Adam Levine. Adam Levine by Adam Levine is a pretty cool bottle. It's got the microphone, you got the little, cable going through the middle of the bottle. It's the only fragrance ever released by Adam Levine. Now he's the face for YSL, so maybe that says something about the fragrance, or, maybe he just cut his losses. This one worked really well in the high heat for me. I wore it in Las Vegas, and a lot of people thought I was wearing some super high-end stuff. Little did they know I was balling on a budget at the time, and this is like a $8 or $12 fragrance. They didn't have any idea of that. I bought this one actually in a Burlington. I think it was $12.99 for this size bottle. I think this is a 50 ml. So for 50 ml, I got it for $12 and some change. I'm sure on FragranceNet or Fragrance X or one of these websites, you can probably get a 3.4 for like 20 bucks. Super cheap, super affordable, very bright, very strong, grapefruit presence of a fragrance. And this will work really great in the high heat. I really enjoy it. I think you should at least smell it or check it out if you can. From the house of Adam Levine, Adam Levine. At number 7 is a fragrance that makes me very reminiscent, is a fragrance from my high school days. This one just works. From the house of Hugo Boss, Hugo. So the cap, as you can see, I've already unscrewed it. Just kind of sits like that. It's kind of a unique cap. I don't know of a whole lot of brands that have bottles like this. This is just a super clean, fresh, slightly sharp fragrance that was super popular in the 90s and the 2000s, and I think it still works today. This one really set the stage for what would become the super fresh wave of fragrances. This came out when you had your Curves and your Tommy by Tommy's and your Aqua de Joes. This one right here often gets forgotten, and this one right here can be bought for super cheap. I of course got the 75 mil. I think I paid like $18 and some change or something like that. Super cheap. The bigger bottle is like 25. But again, I know some people would say, oh, it was only $7 or $8 more. Why didn't you get the bigger bottle? Because I know I'm not gonna burn through this entire bottle. So why literally waste the money? You think I'm wasting it by not getting the bigger bottle. I think I'd be wasting the money by getting the bigger bottle because I'll never use the juice that I paid for. If you're looking for an everyday driver, an easy to wear fragrance that's just going to work, go ahead and check out HUGO by Hugo Boss. And number 7 is a fragrance that I was put on to by Dallas over at the channel Chaos Fragrance. This is a super cheap fragrance that is super strong in the note of fig. You guys know I love the note of fig, and this one has a great fig note in it. I think this is like a poor man's Fig Man by Carner Barcelona. It's got fig, it's got coconut. The coconut is not nearly as prominent as I think a lot of people think. I think this is a super earthy but slightly clean fragrance. I think this works really well in the summertime in the high heat. I think if I wore this in the high heat a lot more often, I probably could maybe pick up a lot more on that coconut note. We'll see, I'll get some more time with it, but I definitely think it works. I think you should check it out. I've heard a lot of people praise it. So, you know, if a lot of people think it works great and a lot of people are saying they're getting lots of compliments from it and it works, then maybe they're either full of crap or they're telling the truth. So maybe let's meet in the middle. Let's go ahead and just try it out. From the house of Guess, 1981 Indigo. At number 6 is a fragrance that made my top 10 designer list for summer. This one is a cucumber melon centric fragrance, super fresh, super easy to wear. Pretty much anybody and everybody who has a fragrance collection usually has this one. But if for some stretch of the imagination that you don't, you should definitely just go blind by it. I don't say that often, but just, it's under $15. It's an easy score. From the house of Nautica, Nautica Voyage. Nautica Voyage is a fragrance that you're gonna hear a lot about in the fragrance community, especially on Facebook. This one is a super easy to wear, super cheap, super clean, just really great, awesome fragrance. Although it's super synthetic, it's an easy grab in my opinion if you're looking for a fragrance that's just gonna work in the high heat. This is a t-shirt and board shorts kind of fragrance. Put on some flip-flops, put on some sunglasses, sit out in the sun. This will work, and yes, it has a little bit of longevity issues, especially the newer formulation, but at $15, you just keep spraying. You don't stop, can't stop, won't stop, And the best part of that is this one will not be cloying. This smells fantastic right now in the air. I would normally be choking right now if I sprayed any other fragrance that many times. Anyway, easy choice from the house of Nautica, Nautica Voyage. Smack dab in the middle is going to be my more gentlemanly fragrance. This is going to be one that I would wear a little more dressed up. It can work in any occasion, but this one seems a little more mature. From the house of Guerlain, Guerlain Homme. Guerlain Homme features the note of mint. This is a super fresh fragrance. It will literally wake you up, is the best way I can describe it. This is something that when you smell it on someone else or you smell it in the air, it makes you feel like you've inhaled like Vicks Vapor Rub, kind of that feeling, not the smell, but that feeling that, oh wow, you'll wake up, you know, those kids, like the little white tubes that kids use at raves and, you know, to get on ecstasy and hit, sniff that and like trip out. Too much information. That kind of smell, that kind of feeling you got from that smell, that's what I get from this. So this is super fresh. This is super, you know, revitalizing of a fragrance, but also refined and slightly gentlemanly. This is something, like I said, I would wear if I was more dressed up, if I was looking for compliments in a more dressed up setting, maybe date night, maybe going out to a nice dinner, a board meeting, an office meeting, church, wedding, that kind of stuff. That's where this works. Coming in right in the middle of the list at number 5, Guerlain's Homme. At number 4 is a fragrance that I think Chris Brown would love because it's double your pleasure, double your fun. It is the statement of Double Mint Gum From the house of AZZARO, AZZARO's Wild Mint. So I'm sure you've been hearing a lot of buzz about this one and the other flankers from the line. There are a ton of them. And if you got all of them, it would look really cool because it's a really cool color concept of these bottles. This one, however, is often compared to by people who comment on videos to smell like double mint gum or spearmint gum or mint gum. I think this smells fantastic. Personally, I really love it in the air. I like how it smells on my skin, but just kind of taking this bad boy and, you know, spraying it in the air. Oh, it smells so good. It often draws comparisons to Crypto Mint. I think this has its own legs. I don't think it's a lot like Crypto Mint. Crypto Mint is more of a creamy, smooth mint. This is more of a bright, sharp, fresh mint. I think this is something that would give you kind of like a spark, kind of like Guerlain Homme, but I think that this one is more of a budget, more youthful kind of vibe. I think this one worked really well if you like mint. I think this one will work really well in the summertime, and it's super cheap. I think I got it off of Fragrance X for like $28. You should go check out this one and all of the other flankers, because from what I'm understanding from the videos that I've seen, they all work really, really well. At number 4, from the house of AZZARO, AZZARO's Wild Mint. At number 3 is a fragrance that I have become synonymous with because it was the very first video I ever released. I've mentioned it a ton and I've pushed it a ton because it smells fantastic, and you can get it off of Fragrance Net for like $26 full presentation and like $22 with no cap tester. It would look a lot like this. From the house of Banana Republic, Banana Republic's Vintage Green. Sebastian is also a big fan of the note of fig. We've had many conversations in private about it, and he's actually mentioned this fragrance in his like top 20 list, and I think it was number 1. This is a super clean, slightly fruity, very herbal, green fragrance. This works so great in the high heat. It's a fun, lovable fragrance. You can't overspray this. It doesn't have the greatest longevity, but when it comes to the quality of how the scent smells, the bottle presentation, the whole packaging of it too, for $25, easy decision in my book. Easily the best in my opinion from the Icon collection. I think if you like other ones in the Icon collection, you should own this one, because if you think those are great, this one's definitely better in my opinion. If you're into the note of fig, but you want a juicy, clean, super almost wet smelling fig fragrance, go ahead and check out Banana Republic's Vintage Green. At number 2 is my favorite fragrance of all time. Every special occasion imaginable, this is the one I reach for over all of my much more expensive fragrances. From the house of Versace, Versace's Pour Homme. A lot of people ask me why I didn't have this on my Cheapies for Life video. Well, number 1, I plan on having it on this video, and a lot of people get really butthurt if you continually mention a fragrance. Well, you know what? I'll continually mention this one. I tried to water down that aspect by not mentioning it in that video, but I'm gonna mention it in this video. Versace Pour Homme is often compared to Allure Homme Sport, but this is more of the sharper, fresher version of that. Allure Homme Sport has vanilla. I think it has tonka in it. It's a little sweet. I just feel like that's kind of wrong. I do own it. I do think that that's something I wear more in a dressed up occasion, or maybe more at nighttime, cooler weather. I think this one works way better in the high heat, and this one's a lot cheaper. This is my second bottle of it. It is a backup bottle. This one's just easier to hold in hand, and it's a smaller bottle. And you guys know I love the 1.7 ounce bottles. I think those are a great option. Again, this bottle can be had for under $35. I think it's an easy grab if you're looking for an all day, any occasion, any season, any choice reason fragrance. This is a daily driver, Swiss Army knife, perfect for any occasion, especially in the time of summer. From the house of Versace, Versace's Pour Homme. At number 1 is a fragrance that I noticed from another channel. The channel is Ashton's channel, ScentSense. I'm not gonna claim credit for putting this fragrance on the map because he definitely did. And I think that this one is super, super good. I have to say that because it's in the name, From the house of ISSEY MEYAKE at number 1, L'eau super Majure d'ISSEY. For sure I butchered the name, but if I have to say what this smells like, think a budget-friendly version of Office for Men. No, it doesn't smell just like Office for Men. I don't want you guys going blow up Jeremy, and then Jeremy feels like he has to like write a cease and desist letter to ISSEY MEYAKE. This has that same kind of chemically synthetic, fuzzy kind of vibe, but in a good way. If you're not a fan of those kind of fragrances, then this one you want to steer clear of. But if you like those fragrances that really project, have some synthetic to it, the ISO E-Supers of the world, this one really, really works. This thing is super strong. It's beast mode in a bottle, long projection, long longevity, great sillage, super awesome fragrance if that's what you're into. And this one kind of dries down, it gets a little more woody, but it does, as Ashton say, have a fuzziness to it. I think it smells like white noise looks. It's got that metally, almost chemically like smell, but like I said, in a good way. I'm really, really vibing with this fragrance, and I gotta tell you, I think this is one that's gonna pick up steam, so you may wanna get it before, you know, FragranceNet catches on to the fact that it's getting pumped on YouTube and it's like 45, 50, 55, 60 bucks. This one can be had for under $35, so go get it while you can. Go check it out. At number 1, from the house of ISSEY MEYAKE, L'eau super Majure d'ISSEY. All right, folks, those are 10 compliment-getting summertime fragrances that can be had for under $35. Let's get the conversation started. Let me know in the comment section below, do you own any of these fragrances? Have you tried any of these fragrances? What do you think of these fragrances? What are some fragrances you think should have been on the list? And yes, you can answer all of those questions. Let's get it started. And while you're at it, it seems that if you're not subscribed, you've enjoyed what you've seen because you've made it to this point. So subscribe. And while you're at it, go ahead and click the notification bell. That way you will be the very first to know. And as always, and most importantly, I thank each and every one of you. And I gotta say, peace.